Where we have a tornado warning in effect for southern Illinois.
We do. We're picking up where we left off yesterday. I've actually stopped because this continued overnight and it is still ongoing this morning. Notice all of the local storm reports we've had, and you see these 3 tornado reports right on the border of Kansas and also into Oklahoma. Several reports of hail. I saw 2 4-inch size hail, big time hail for us here, and we expect that again today. We have a line of tornado warnings for us here into southern Illinois. Essentially, Carbondale eastbound is where we do have these tornado warnings. Pope, Saline, Williamson counties until 5:15 local time. And as we look at the reflectivity, it's really tough. We don't have this well-defined system that's kind of rotating around. You're going to get little notches within this that are going to have spin on them. And we actually have a confirmed tornado that was over Lake of Egypt area, 7 miles south of Marion, moving east at 45. And a lot of these are moving 45, 50, 60 miles an hour, and they're all bringing some hail with it as well. So this is where our tornado warnings are. And again, you get these little notches, and that's where you have to watch out for the tornadoes. And everything is moving off to the east. So if you live east of these areas, then you need to seek shelter immediately. You know, anyone driving on 57, anyone driving on 24, make sure that you do give them a heads up, because this will all be making its way eastbound here, even down towards Paducah here now. Brookport, La Center, and Metropolis under tornado warning until 5:45. This one is radar indicated. And what that means is the radar sees that rotation in the atmosphere. And when you have that rotation in the atmosphere, you could have that rotation on the ground at any moment. So if you're in Harrisburg, 5:18 is when this storm will be to you. Paducah, 5:35. Oakdale, 5:40. So if you are watching and you know anyone in these cities, please alert them, wake them up. This is a really tough time to have severe weather because so many people are sleeping. People may be just unaware, getting the kids, you know, off to go to school, or you're trying to head to work, and all of a sudden you get slammed by a big storm. You can also expect damaging winds within this as well. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder too. And it is all just really kind of the beginning of the day, because things are just going to get worse before they get better for us here. All right, that is a look at the small details widening out. We do have a tornado watch until 8 o'clock local time from Missouri all the way here into Indiana. And that means conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes. A warning means it's imminent or it's occurring. And I anticipate many more watches and many more warnings to come out with us here. And though this line might not have warnings on it, Cincinnati's about to get nailed by some of these storms. This is where Justin Michaels is. He'll give us a live report up towards Dayton and Troy, Urbana, even over towards Columbus. And imagine, it is just April 2nd. We are just starting the severe weather season. Jim, power outages we're expecting to become more likely as we go through the day.
In addition to
as intense.
Yeah, but we'll be talking about the snow, right? And some of these areas that get severe weather may actually have snow
on the backside,
on top of them. So that's something to watch out for.
Southern Illinois over into Indiana and Kentucky as well. You can see this line we've been following, a big severe thunderstorm warning. Within that, we do have tornado warnings, and we have had a confirmed tornado near Marion. But this whole thing has now shifted east, heading right towards Evansville. This is 41. There's 60 Morganfield. We are getting on the back side of this, and then everything is going to continue to progress eastbound. And another tornado warning now on the south side of this. If you know anyone traveling on 69, you need to let them know to seek shelter as soon as possible. And we do see that rotation, a lot of lightning too, and a lot of rain with this. Hail is coming down as well. These are moving 40, 50 miles an hour off to the east. And as we look at the reflectivity, it's these little notches right here. That is what is the rotation. So those little notches, boom, boom, they're all along here, and you can get that as the winds come out of these thunderstorms. They can cause little spin-ups here, but that's where you really have to be careful and look for. Okay, so let's see. So we have different radars that we can look at, and this shows us the wind velocity. And the one that Jillian just switched to, this is your correlation coefficient. So if you see a little drop out here, and this one, we don't look at this and say, yes, there's a tornado on the ground, but there's the potential that there's some debris when you see a little bit of a dropout here. But regardless, if you are in the path of this, off to the east, Armstrong, I would get to your shelter immediately. If you're in Scott or any point in between, I'd get to your shelter immediately. I-69, if you're in Evansville, Indiana, get to your shelter immediately. And we're talking the lowest level of your home, the most interior. That's where you want to be, and make sure that you have some shoes with you in case there's some debris as well. And there's another little notch down here. So everything moving off to the east. Here we go. Scott 558, Fisher 603, Boone 612. This will be towards you. And even if you don't get a tornado, you could still get very heavy rain. You could get very strong winds with this, and damaging winds can cause similar damage as a tornado, so do keep that in mind. As we are looking at our cell to the south of there, Henderson, Graham, Basket, 605 for you, Reed, 611. So seek shelter if you're in these areas as well. A lot of people might just be waking up and unaware of the weather situation that is around them. But this has been a potent line for, about an hour now, and it will continue to stay potent for us here. And notice that it's not just right there into Indiana and also into Kentucky. As we widen out anywhere from Missouri eastbound here, that's where we have a tornado watch. That means conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes. The warnings mean that is imminent or it's occurring. Once this goes east, we're going to add in some cold, we're going to add in some wind, and Jim, it's going to make a mess of the Great Lakes and Northeast.
And we're going to add some snow on top of some.
Severe weather yesterday, it lasted overnight, and it is still active this morning. We want to get right to the maps because we've been following this line of storms for an hour, and they have had multiple tornado warnings on this. In fact, a confirmed tornado over Lake Egypt, about 7 miles south of Marion earlier this morning, about an hour ago. A lot of these moving east at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. But the tornado warnings are lined up, and there is a bigger severe thunderstorm warning encompassing this entire line that we are seeing. But we'll go through them for you here. This one is just to the north of Evansville, though you are in a tornado warning. This entire line down 41, those are all tornado warnings. That means you need to seek shelter immediately. That means a tornado has been spotted, or we could have one at any moment. And what we're looking at is the reflectivity. There's different radars that we can look at, the velocity, I should say. And so this is going to show us the winds. Red means winds are going away from the radar. Green means the winds are going towards. I know to the untrained eye, this is a little sloppy, but where you get these little notches, you can get little tornadoes to spin up. So there is some spin in the atmosphere that we're seeing, and that is why we do have these tornado warnings that have been posted along this line of storms. You can get big winds that come out of these, and they can spin up little tornadoes, little quick tornadoes. But the threat is going to be lasting, by the way, throughout the entire day, and we could see some long track tornadoes as well. There's a lot of lightning with these. There's a lot of rain with these. I looked at the warnings. There's a lot of hail with these as well, at least 3/4 of an inch or greater, and they are moving very quickly here, moving eastbound on 64 and also crossing over 69 for us too. Closer look at Evansville. This is 41, so anywhere from really Fort Branch, Scott, Evansville, down into Henderson, and even points south of there, you should really be seeking shelter because, again, look at these notches. Boom, boom. That's where you're going to have, first of all, just strong winds where you see everything kind of bowing out this way, and then within those little notches, you could have tornadoes. So this is something to be very aware of. A lot of people just waking up to get ready for work, to get ready for school, and they are unaware. So if you know anyone in this vicinity in Smythe, Ohio, Dayville, give them a call. Let them know severe weather is headed in their direction. Owensboro, this whole line is making its way towards you. Even if it doesn't stay tornadic, you are going to have very strong winds associated with this and the potential for that hail to continue. But it's been holding together quite well. Jillian's showing the just huge line for us. Ohio, it could be to you at 603, Boone 611, Owensboro 628. Carter, it could be into you at 632. This is a time to get to the lowest level of your home. Bring your pets, bring your kids, Bring whoever is in your house, whatever is in your house that is living down to the lowest level, most interior room. Grab a pair of shoes just in case there is debris. You want to make sure that you don't get cut up if there is something you have to walk through. We do have now an extended tornado watch until noon today. Louisville, Lexington, you're in this as well. 65 just north of Bowling Green, you're in this as everything progresses eastbound. I do think we are going to see a lot more watches and a lot more warnings through the day because we do have a 7 out of 10 on our Torcon, which indicates numerous tornadoes, some of those being long tracked. And again, we're going to start to see those power outages tick up, not only due to the severe weather, but also the snow that is going to come in behind the system. More on that in just a minute. Let's go to Jim to talk timing with these storms.
All right. So
winds 40-50 miles an hour, and we are going to see heavy wet snow from the Great Lakes on into the Northeast. So as this system pulls into our Wednesday and Thursday, that's when the story is going to change. Yes, we're going to see heavy rain and rain first and then snow for a lot of us, though down the megalopolis there is that flood threat and you will see all rain. We're not going to get that snow into places like New York City, but we will get it here into Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois. You're going to get into it, and then also into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and portions of Boston as well, or I should say Massachusetts as well. That is going to be the heaviest snow, the 1 to 2 feet. We'll get some good snow also here back into Wisconsin, make up some serious snow depths that we have. But I'll tell you what, the Northeast is going to be cranking and rocking and rolling because the winds are going to be 40, 50, maybe even 60 miles an hour. We start off as rain as we're in that warm sector with that southerly flow. Notice the snow first starting back into Chicago. Might be a rain-snow mix for us into Chicago, Green Bay, Marquette, and then things really wind into place as we get into our Thursday for the Northeast. Here's our another low pressure developing, and these winds are going to be just howling, an absolute mess for us here into New England. Coming in on the backside, we'll still see it, and then it kind of lingers as we head into our Friday, maybe even into our Saturday for some of us into New England. Notice the winds, though. We're going to see, I think, a lot of power outages. Travel's going to be an absolute mess, Kelly. Wednesday all the way into Thursday here in New England, they are going to be tremendous.
Is a multifaceted
Valley bracing for repeat rounds of severe weather today, packing damaging winds, heavy rain, and the risk of tornadoes. We want to bring in national correspondent Justin Michaels in Covington, Kentucky, which is just basically south of Cincinnati, to give you a better idea of where he is. Justin, you have a safe place in case you have a tornado warning. Maybe you can show the viewers kind of the vicinity of how close you are to getting to shelter.
That's right, Steph. So the moment
that is true. Thank you so much, Justin, for that report and showing us where your safe place was. And we're going to break down all this severe weather, Jim, because it's been quite a morning already. And this is just kind of, I don't want to say the pregame, but kind of, you know, we have a lot on deck.
we do.
Starting to pare down a little bit, but we do have a watch that already lasts. As we head into the afternoon, we're going to see more watches and more warnings. A couple severe thunderstorm warnings on this line that has been very active here for the last couple of hours. And then this is our tornado warning. And by the way, this is headed right towards the Louisville area. 65, riding along 64. So this is tough going right now on the highway from Oil headed towards Louisville or vice versa. Brandenburg, these storms are about to get into you as well as we head over the next, 30 to 45 minutes. A lot of rain, a little bit of rotation with this. Right here is where the radar is picking up on rotation. Meteorologists are looking at this to see that there is some light rotation with this right now. There have been some damage with these storms. There's been some roof damage to a shed. So even if you don't get a tornado, of course, the National Weather Service will have to go out to confirm if this damage was tornadic or just from winds from the thunderstorm. Thunderstorm winds alone can cause significant damage. New Amsterdam, Lanesville, 807, Louisville, 818, headed right towards the Pleasant Ridge Park. Croydon, this is around 8 o'clock, getting into you. Very heavy rain and a lot of lightning associated with these as well. So if you're in any of these cities, what do you do right now? You grab some shoes, you go to the lowest level, most interior spot in your house right now. A lot of people just waking up and, might not even be aware of this. So if you know anyone that live in those cities, then give them a call. Let them know what's going on. Louisville, here is a 7 out of 10. Cincinnati includes you as well. Of course, we have live teams out. We do have Justin Michaels that is in the Cincinnati vicinity giving us live coverage, showing us the rain that has already gone through there. Louisville, you're getting some light showers right now, and all along 71, it is wet, it is sloppy. Travel is going to be very slow today because this is really kind of just the beginning of the day, and we anticipate more storms to be firing, and they will be tornadic as well. Look at another round coming through, so don't think you're one and done. You're going to see one round go through, and then you could see multiple rounds going through the day. Louisville, we do not really clear out until we head into the overnight hours for us here. Cincinnati points eastbound into Columbus. We are seeing the showers, and just like I was showing you in Kentucky, we will see round after round of rain coming on through, and you'll get a little bit of a break, but you can't let your guard down. Today is the day to be very weather aware. Keep it tuned to the Weather Channel so we can keep you ahead of these storms, and they don't really blow out again until we head into the overnight hours. At least you can sleep soundly. Nashville, real quick, I know we got to get to Jim. I just want to show the timing on this for the city of Nashville and the surrounding areas. Around lunchtime, some heavy showers, and we will see multiple rounds coming through and lasting even into our dinner and bedtime, Jim.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy time for a lot of cities.
Some breaking news. Kelly is just telling me that a tree has fallen on a mobile home. Is that what it is, Kelly, the report? Uniontown. So even if you don't get a tornado, just the winds from these storms can take down trees and do significant damage. We've heard of roof damage as well, damage to sheds with these storms. And we have a significant tornado threat today. It is a 7 out of 10. This means numerous tornadoes. We could see some of those long track as well. And that extends for Kentucky, Indiana, on into Ohio. Now notice 5 is no joke either. So you have to take a 5 out of 10 very seriously as well. That means tornadoes are likely, some tornadoes are likely down to Huntsville into Birmingham as well. This morning, the storms have been focused along the Ohio River Valley, but that's going to shift as we go through the day. This is really, I don't want to call this the pregame because this is the main show for those of you going through it, but there's a lot more to come behind this. So as we zoom on in, another tornado warning has just been issued. We have been watching this line essentially all morning long, and we've had multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, multiple tornado warnings. That means that if you have a tornado warning, a tornado is imminent or it's occurring. So we have 2 of them right now, and you can see it by county and by city. So Croydon, Heath, Webster, you are under tornado warning until 8:15. It is radar indicated. So we look at the radar and we can see the rotation, and that rotation could be on the ground at any moment. Here's a look at the rotation. This is super messy right here, but what we're essentially looking at is all of this making its way towards places like Pleasure Ridge, making its way towards West Point, where the radar beam is sending the signal out right now. There's very heavy rain with these. There is hail with these as well. Notice if you're in Pleasure Ridge Park, this will be you at 8:14. If you're in Louisville, 8:21, and so on. So watch as these storms race off to the east. Some have been moving 40, 60. I even saw one cell moving at 80 miles an hour. You're talking faster than what we should be doing on the highway here off to the east. So they're going to come in very fast, and then they're going to move out very fast as well. So heavy rainfall is going to really, not let you see what's happening in the atmosphere. I know the sun is coming up too. Brandenburg, 8:07 for you. West Point, 8:19. Shepherdsville, 8:32. And this is just one line of many that will be developing as we go through the day for us today. There's been wind damage reported with these and hail reported with these as well. Here in Heath, carports have been blown off a building. Roof damage as well in Heath. Trees and power lines are down into Uniontown. There's your mobile home that Kelly was mentioning, destroyed by a tree. One minor injury as well. Melody Hill, winds gusting to 84 miles an hour. Jillian, our phenomenal weather producer, trying to get these on as quick as she can as soon as they come up. And it's one big team for us here, getting all the information to you that we can. Jill, should we move on from this? I don't want to mess you up if you're adding anything. There you go. There were some utility poles down for you. Here is our tornado watch. This is until noontime. This means conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes. We'll see more watches issued for tornadoes. I'm sure severe thunderstorms as well. And the warnings are the much smaller ones like I was just showing you. meaning that that type of weather is imminent or it's occurring. So today, things you should do, always kind of know where your shoes are located. If there's a warning, you're going to want to put those shoes on when you get to your safe place in case there is debris when you're crawling out of your safe place, that you don't cut yourself. Jim, the power outages are going up. We're now at over 31,000 customers. I anticipate more of that. Flooding is also a threat with this too. And then, of course, we've got to talk about how this is going to turn into a huge snowstorm.
I know, isn't that incredible?
For some stronger thunderstorms, it's not as high as today, but it is still there. And then this morphs into a snowstorm. This is what you call a very typical spring system, the severe weather and also the snow. We're going to get a low pressure that's going to develop here off the Atlantic coast. That's going to throw some warm Atlantic temperatures into some colder air and allow that moisture to freeze. We do have that threat for flooding too. We don't need any more rain in the Northeast. We have seen so much rain here, but there is a potential really through Thursday morning that we could see some flooding. There are your winter weather advisories. They're anywhere from Michigan down into Wisconsin, where we could see our heaviest snow, and then into the Northeast, where we could see a couple feet of snow here for us when all is said and done. It's looking like 12 to 18, maybe 2 there into the UP. And then, of course, not only the heavy snow, it's going to be wet and it is going to be windy. Watch these isobars tighten up as we go through the forecast. But notice we start as rain, and then we see this low pressure bringing in the cold air on the backside of this. There's your snow into the Midwest on Tuesday evening into Wednesday. Wednesday, we're still seeing mainly rain in the Northeast, but boy, oh boy, Wednesday night into Thursday, we see another low pressure develop, and that is going to toss snow here for us into New England, and it keeps kicking, and it keeps kicking, and it keeps kicking, Kelly, all the way really as we head into the weekend.
Heavy wet snow. No April Fool's.
Valley is bracing for repeated rounds of severe weather today. It's not just going to be one line coming through, and it's not just going to be a tornado risk. Let's bring in national correspondent Justin Michaels to talk more about this, who's in Covington, Kentucky. You can see Cincinnati over the Ohio River there, right behind Justin. And Justin, you did have some storms come in this morning. Tell me how heavy that rain was. Was it hard to see the buildings even across from the river? How bad was the wind? Did you have any hail?
We did not have hail
right there either, as Kelly was just showing us, Justin. This is wide-reaching and actually lasts into tomorrow. Not as intense, but Jim will still have that severe weather threat into tomorrow.
Yeah, and sadly,
inch-size hail yesterday. It was big, and we could see more of that today. So here we go. The highest threat, Kentucky, Indiana into Ohio, but our 5 goes all the way down. It's been expanded recently, almost reaching that I-10 corridor. We still have a 3 all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So this is a huge threat today, and we have already seen multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, multiple tornado warnings for you, and we have had a couple lines going through Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and now we're seeing a line develop here along the Mississippi River. It has been an active day yesterday. We had 3 reported tornadoes overnight and even into this morning. So here's a look at our 2 tornado warnings that we have as these all push south and east. St. Mary, this line is headed towards you. Harrodsburg, this is headed towards you. Frankfurt, we're seeing the worst of it right now. We'll clear out, but we're not one and done with these. We're going to have multiple rounds coming through. All right, so here's a look at a first cell that we're looking at, and this shows us the winds. So we're looking at the winds going away and towards the radar. So if you take a pencil in your hand, one is going away, one's going towards. What does that give you? That gives you a little spin, and that's what we're seeing in the atmosphere. And so we've got red means away, green means towards. We got a little spin in the atmosphere here. We've got strong winds in this severe thunderstorm warning, but watch it basically northwest of Bardstown. This is heading off to the south and the east. If you're in a tornado warning, that means the tornado is imminent or it's occurring, and the radar can picture that rotation in the clouds way above our head, and those can spin down at any moment, so keep that in mind. Valley Hill and 903, it'll get to you. Thompsonville, it's headed your way as well. Springfield, you're in this tornado warning too. Now as we go over towards Elizabethtown, we have yet another tornado warning for us here, and this is 2 big lines coming through. We've already had damage reported. We've had a tree down on a mobile home in Kentucky. So even if you don't get a tornado warning, you can still get a lot of damage just from the winds. Pittsburgh getting in on the flash flood warning. And so that's Bethel Park, Penns Hill, also into Pittsburgh, 11:30. And by the way, there's more rain that is coming on in for us here. And you can see the big low spinning also back off to our west. Memphis, severe thunderstorm warning. A lot of these cells have been moving 40, 50 plus plus miles an hour with winds up to 60 miles an hour, and hail 3/4 of an inch to an inch or even more out of some of these. So do be careful of that as we go through the day. And this is really just the beginning. This is not the big show. It is the big show if you're dealing with it now, but we've got even more that's coming down the pipeline for us. Louisville to Lexington, up into Cincinnati, we are a 7 out of 10, 10 being the highest. And again, we have our 2 tornado warnings that we're following with this strong, powerful line. Lebanon, this is headed in your direction. Danville, this is headed in your direction as well. This will be one of many lines that will come through during the day, Jim. So this is just one round, and we will see multiple, not like 1 or 2, multiple rounds coming through.
That 12 to 8 p.m. period is hot for your next.